Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech protected.
I'm Chris Coates. And
I'm Randy Filio.
And this is Spotlight Keene, and we're back and talking about a lot of things.
Yeah.
A lot of things, a lot of good things going on.
All things local.
I will tell you, yesterday, this week, I had to put my beloved Maxwell down. He had a 12-year-old yellow lab.
That really sucks.
Nothing more painful than saying goodbye to your animals that
Nope.
become part of your life, part of your. We call them animals. We call them, but they're our partners.
Oh, they're family.
They're family, and so it was a
Not a good day.
hard last week and a half, but it was the right thing to do. Cancer is just a mean thing. I don't,
Yep.
No,
of course, with Facebook, most of us friends they'll post when their pets pass, and our little dog Bliss there, he in 3 weeks he turns 15.
Yeah.
And still take him over to Asheville River Park, and he still sprints like hell, faster than I can go. But you still realize he's 15, and But
Max, for Max, even though he was 12, he's still. I mean,
for a large dog, that's
but he also was still going strong.
Yeah,
literally, it's cancer. And,
yep.
It just
nothing
he
you
had
can do.
internal bleeding going on, all that, and it's just like the doctor said, we can keep him going. But I will never have any. Well, first of all, if I did that, it wouldn't be for him; it would be for me.
Exactly.
And then second, I will never have any of my animals suffer. So
right.
My buddy is passed on, but we still have Cisco, my 5-year-old black lab, and we actually brought him in, and it was really interesting. He knew instantly what occurred, and
they're very Animals very smart, man.
I had read a lot about it, and they said that. The majority of people feel like if you can do it, bring the other pet in, because if not, they'll be always looking to the door to see if he's coming through the door.
True.
And they can sense when there's no life in it, and he clearly sensed it. It was
that sucks.
Emotional. So, but moving on.
Yeah.
So let's celebrate that we've got a lot of good things happening on the sports front. We talked
a little bit about that last week, and we were talking about it before we went on the air.
But it was premature because we didn't know yet.
Yeah, we didn't know, and over the last few years, sports in Keene State and Keene High have really made a heck of a comeback. I mean, Keene State's basketball has always done pretty well, but their hockey teams in the national tournament, the basketball teams in the national tournament, Keene High. Hockey, boys basketball, both in the tournament. Girls basketball in the tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, sports have made
wrestling's doing well.
Wrestling team's doing well. Yeah.
And I will give a shout out, of course, to the Conant boys who lost in the finals.
Right. They played well,
but it was an incredibly low scoring game. It was a defensive battle. Buckets were a premium that day, and
they kind of shot the way you and I shot, cold. You know?
Well, I always shot cold.
Well, back in my day, Chris, of course, right across the street from you, the rec center, I used to be able to dunk, but that was back when they had 7-foot baskets, if you remember those.
Oh yeah.
And then one day, you go from like 5th grade to 6th grade, and they say, "Here's your new baskets," and you're like, "What the hell?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to dunk on those ever."
Yeah. No, it was. No, I could never dunk. I could box out really well.
Tackle.
I could tackle basketball. I could tackle, but I could definitely box out really well. But that was about all I could do in basketball.
I wouldn't drive the lane against you playing basketball.
I think I was probably a good team. I got the water.
Yeah, good job, man.
I don't kid myself. I know where my strength lay. So
good. It's going to be
It's by the time this will have played, is Friday night, Saturday. So we'll know if Keene High has moved on to the next round of hockey.
Hopefully by next week we're still talking about this,
and we'll know that Keene High School basketball has either boys or girls have moved on,
Yep.
and also in wrestling we'll know if
The
we
New
have New
Englands.
England's,
They go to the New Englands.
and also Keene State College. If they're hosting for 3 other teams and themselves this weekend.
Yep.
And tickets that are going to be a premium, and Keene plays on Friday, first game, I think, and they're going to be tough games, but Keene's good.
Yeah, they're very good.
So it'll be, if you can get down there and get tickets, I mean, they're going to go quick.
Yep.
But if you can, do it, and if they win there, then they move on.
Sweet 16.
Sweet 16.
If they get through the weekend, they go to the Sweet 16.
If they win that game, they're in the 8, and then 4, then 2.
Might as well
and
just
you
win the
never
rest
know.
of them.
It's just, but they're, as long as it really comes down to them, their defense is consistent, has been consistent. From what I have talked to people about, their defense at Keene State College has been consistent all year long. The only time they've gotten into trouble is when their shooting has gone a little bit cold.
Right.
For
yeah, they beat themselves.
But I mean, even in the championship game the other day, they were cold from the 3-point land, and they were still up 6 or 10, I can't remember. But and then in the second they got hot and they buried the team. I mean, at one point they were up by 20, 22 I think it was, and they ended up winning by 16.
Yeah.
And so it's just they're incredibly gifted, and the thing is what people don't realize is that Keene's had a run now that's getting lengthy. I mean, I know that the last 3 or 4 years what the run has been, but if you go back even farther, they've been a competitive basketball team for a period of time now.
Yep.
So it's fun to watch, and with hockey coming in around the corner down there, it will be even more interesting to see how they fare. I mean, up in Plymouth, their hockey team is a religion up there. And over at UNH, and you know what? To be honest with you, they're one of the highest paid. The coaches are some of the highest paid people in the state for the university system.
Yeah. And
UNH's hockey has been average at best. And I don't say that but I just say that but their fans are rabid. The tradition carries on, and it brings community. It brings a campus community together to cheer. So I think it's going to be fun times down at Keene State College, because you've gone to majority of the games,
club hockey
of the club hockeys, and there's good
which
fan
are very
base,
good, very good hockey,
but well attended for the most part too, right?
Yeah, and next year Division III hockey comes in. They'll still keep the club team, which is very good hockey, but next year the division team comes in, and you're right, the rivalry against Plymouth State. Now that's going to be a game to go to, because hockey, that's hard hitting, man, and when you play a rival, the intensity picks up a notch.
Yeah.
So that's going to be some real fun hockey next year. So I'm not wishing summer away, but the good thing about when winter comes here, being one that doesn't ski, so a lot of people love outdoor sports. I'm like, when's spring coming? But hockey gets me through the winter.
Yeah.
That's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to it.
It's I'm trying to think. It wasn't the Canadians, but I was reading this thing the other day that penalty boxes used to be one penalty box.
I saw the same thing.
Did
I
you
saw
see
it on
that?
Facebook.
You saw that where
you sat side by side.
They'd go in, and it wasn't until, and I think it was like the Ottawa Senators or something like that the two people got into a fight, and from that, like a week later, they created 2 boxes, and one would go one would go the other, and then the next thing you know, the Canadians did it, and then other teams, and now it's just the way it. Can you see that in this?
You get to a fight
age?
and go sit beside
you sit
each other
next to the guy. Oh my! Because I've seen games where there's plexiglass between the two, and they're swearing at each other and all that jazz.
No, it's fun. So you like sports, Keene's the place to be. It really is.
Yeah, this area as a whole. There's
Cheshire
a level,
County in general.
There's a rich Monadnock region. There's a richness of sports, and like every other region, we go through cycles. But right now, we seem to be on an up cycle.
Yeah, thank God.
I think a lot of that has to do with our commitment to you get certain, and it starts with parents. I really believe it starts with parents committing to either start or be on boards of leagues or AAUs or whatever it may be.
Right.
But it also means like driving your child everywhere.
Yeah.
And playing and watching them play a lot of sports and eating a lot of fast foods to get to this level that they're now competing in. And then it's also the community making a decision that they're going to have quality facilities.
Right. Well, Chris, on the school board, I was recently promoted to I chair the grounds and facilities and buildings. So you're welcome. Yeah.
You just got there, or you have done nothing. If you could
coincidence,
do,
I think not.
If you could do anything, I say that you take a look at the rates that you're charging some of these nonprofit, teams, that the Knights and others for their field use, and because as a taxpayer, I'm already paying for the damn thing. The Swamp Bats, whoever it is, through the years, the Swamp Bats have done incredible work to the alumni field to keep.
They have. The Swamp Bats have saved the city a lot of money.
Yeah. And so I think at some point, just to take a look at that and stop putting so much blessed fencing around the fields.
I agree with that. That was before I got there.
It's like there are fields. They're not the school's fields. There are fields.
Yeah.
And if I want to go walk on the track, I shouldn't have to try to figure out how to park on one side to work.
Wait a second. Let me put those two thoughts together. Chris and a track. No. That part
I said
doesn't
walking. Go. I don't kid myself. Walking, but I just think that the fields as a whole should be something.
I'm really pushing to get the bathrooms on the baseball field renovated. They're the same basically bathrooms that were there in the 50s.
If you did it really right, you'd go a step farther, and you'd put showers and bathrooms for the baseball players underneath the.
Yeah, we'll send the county. We'll send the county the bill for that.
But that's I think you could get it done fundraising wise. You get a quote.
It's on the horizon. It's on the horizon. It had Alumni Field's a great field, and you're right. The Swamp Bats have put a lot of money into it with the upgrades. But the bathrooms are not up to standard. If we're going to get tournaments here, as we talked about a couple shows ago, you have to upgrade the bathrooms because the NHIA comes in. They kind of look at your facilities and they're like, hey. These don't really cut it.
Well, here's the other thing. You like the track. I mean, is the track? Did you ever finish off the Keene High School track so that because for a while it was in such bad shape.
Oh yeah, the track's in great shape.
You were using the middle school's track.
The track's in great shape.
But you can maybe the Connecticut River Valley track meet can be hosted here, but otherwise. You don't have the bathrooms, you don't have the facilities to support it, and that's too bad because you could have a state meet here someday.
Yep. No, that's like I said, that's on the horizon. We'll figure out some grants or you can't put everything on the back of the Keene taxpayers, but there's always a way. Mm-hmm. There's always a way. So we're looking at that. It keeps me busy on Tuesday nights. So anyhow, with that going on, I attended a committee meeting last night of a newer committee that the city's involved in. It's Road Safety Action Plan Committee. Basically, it's being paid for or conducted by the Department of Transportation. It's another road study. Can never have enough of them, especially if somebody else is paying for it. Talking about roads in Keene citywide. And they're pinpointing areas where too many accidents. They pinpoint to the areas where the accidents happened, where there was injuries or bad injuries, and
is this in Keene or in over the area overall?
They're doing it all over the country, but basically this is just Keene. So we're just looking at Keene on this particular study about. And there's a survey. If you go into the City of Keene website, you can do a survey and ask a bunch of questions about areas you like, areas you don't like, where you think improvements could be made.
What does that mean in the scheme of thing? They collect this and then it just collects dust because we're at the corner of state where we don't see the money
how that
coming
goes. It's like the 10-year highway plan is now the 25-year highway plan. But I don't have a problem with it. I mean, even if the state doesn't do anything with it, the city will have that information.
Who's
at their
on the
fingertips.
committee? Is it like state people that are on the
couple
committee?
a couple of state people, the local people, a few people from the city of Keene. There's one city councilor on it, and it escapes my mind. It's not me. City manager's on it. Don Lucier, who's the acting public works director right now, he's on it. So
and they had a meeting last night. I didn't see.
They're doing it on the 4th. What's the date today? Yeah, 4th Monday of the month for at least the next several months. They had a meeting last month where it was just basically,
getting to know you.
Yeah, getting to know you type of one. So last night was basically their first formal meeting, and they did accept the letter from the neighbors from the east side. They're sending it to MSFI also about traffic issues on the east side. Mm-hmm. And as we talked about last week,
did they list Gilbo Ave?
That's
because it's east. What is Gilbo Ave? East north? What is it?
I guess
if you lived up by Roosevelt School, what was that considered?
North End.
Okay, so if I'm on,
they're just considered North End.
I'm North End.
I used to consider, of course, it's unofficial. I used to consider the rec center the beginning of the North End. So you were kind of in no man's land. You had the downtown group, the east side, the west side, the North End,
and then Gilbo Street.
Then we had Chris.
Yeah, that's just so way you guys treated me. They kept moving me from ward to ward.
I was going to say that they keep selling you to other wards for the lowest bidder.
I know.
3, 2, 3, 2.
No, we want him now. No, we don't want him anymore.
You're back in 2, right?
I am back in 2. Thank you.
The way it should be.
Well, it's pretty stupid that when I was in 3 and I'd have to get in my car and drive to the middle school when literally it was across the street
to vote. Yeah, I think they did that just to irk you. Hey, Chris is coming to vote. Let's send him out to the middle school.
Rose Rayer.
Those are some stories.
Yeah.
So anyhow, with that, for those that listen, if you want to check it out, just go to the City of Keene website. It's right there on the webpage. Just click on it, the Road Safety Action Plan, and there's a survey on it. Take you 5 to 10 minutes to fill out. And hey, it doesn't hurt.
I heard Dan this morning talking about it. He said 10 to 15.
Depends how fast you type. Me, probably about 20, 25. You know. So anyhow, what else is going on? Oh, just reading today about the switching up to Concord a little bit, Chris here. The marijuana bill, which New Hampshire hasn't passed yet, and we're losing millions and millions and millions of tax dollars every year. It made it through the House by 239 to 141, so almost 2-1.
Yeah. And
it's at the Senate now, and the Senate's actually thinking, with a couple of tweaks in their amendments on their part, that it has a legitimate chance of passing this year. And because even the ones that have been opposed to it kind of look at the tax revenue we're losing to Vermont, Massachusetts, and Maine. It's significant, the tax revenue we're losing. So.
It's not like people aren't able to go to Vermont, Massachusetts, and Maine,
right,
and say, "I want this." So why not be able to stay right in your own little home and go down the street and get what you need to get.
And right now the proposal is it'll be sold at the liquor stores, so they've already got the infrastructure in place, so they wouldn't really have to.
Yeah, 15 stores. It would be like a pilot thing, 15 stores throughout the state of New Hampshire. And I mean, I don't like that the state is dictating like they do with alcohol. Like you
knew the state was going to grab all over this.
But
yeah.
I understand that. Like I was talking to one state legislator yesterday, he said things happen little by little.
Exactly.
We don't take big steps in New Hampshire, so let us get it in the door first.
Passed. Don't. And over the years, that's why nothing gets passed, because, it's not going to be my way, so forget it, I'm voting no, then nothing happens. Let it start off. I have no problem with that. They want to go to the liquor stores. They feel they have better control over it, so be it. At this point, at least the House bill, it was going to be a 10% state tax on it. That's what they were saying. The revenues. There you go. That's multi-millions of dollars too. And at this point, the proposal is 65% of all the monies, the taxes collected, would go to public education. That's the proposal right now, and the rest would go to different areas of the state. That's a great proposal because right now, as you know, we're 50th in the state for state funding of public education. So if we can get some multi-million dollars out of that, and it's almost like what we talked about this before, Chris. It's like gambling, and people are opposed to gambling, but yet, people are going by the busloads down to Foxwoods. And now we've got limited gambling in the state, but it brings in revenue.
You get.
That's what I know.
Don't get me going.
That's
because it's like we do everything
half-assed.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And so I just think that they've opened up Pandora's box, and where it goes, we'll see. But they could have done it completely differently, and I just don't understand. It's sort of like this. It's just New Hampshire.
And sometimes they can't get out of their own way.
Yeah.
Most of the time. And no knock on our state reps, because I think historically the reps from our area have done well. But the rest of the state. And as you said, a lot of the state just thinks Keene's over in Vermont anyhow.
I was told that literally yesterday. I was sitting at a table with a bunch of state reps at a day conference at the Holiday Inn in Concord, and literally somebody said that to me. Well, they think Cheshire County is over there. That they think that's in Vermont, and I said, yeah, but we're not. And we'd like to be. We'd probably get more funding from the state.
They'd probably get better attention.
Yeah, but no, we're not.
Yeah, that's just the way it works. So anyhow, stay tuned. It'll be going before the Senate, and it's going to be close. It's going to be. I mean, you just got some that are just going to say no matter what, which is funny because I was talking about.
But is the governor on board?
The governor says he's on board, but that's Sununu. So it depends which way the wind's blowing that day.
I think it's twofold. You can't. I'm guessing that all the Dems will line up and vote for this in the Senate, but that means they need to have some crossovers.
Yeah, it looks like they've got a couple. Like I said, a couple of them want amendments, and that's always a tricky thing because somebody will put an amendment in, then somebody else will oppose the amendment, and then nothing gets done, and they pick up the ball and go home,
right,
and nothing gets accomplished. You were there, you saw it.
Yeah.
Frustrating. At least when you're elected to something here in Keene, you don't have to drive.
It's one of the reasons why if you ever, you should always run. If you want to run for the House and run with purpose, and follow those purposes through legislation. I have no problem with that. I just happen to think that local government gets a lot more done quicker.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And
no, my son, first term state rep, and he had a bill, and to his credit, he had to step on some toes and bloody some noses, but he got his bill passed.
Yeah.
And that's what you should do, and not worry about re-election. Go there and with a purpose, try to get it done. If it doesn't get done, so be it. But don't go there and just fit in and be comfortable. And you got to make some noise to get things done.
I was reading where Cheshire Medical Center is. Well, first and foremost, that they have the residency program out at
the old former Peerless building.
Peerless, Liberty Mutual, it became later on. But it is grown. This residency program, they just offered up, 900? They have 900 prospective residencies to select from.
For three, it took 3.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I don't know. Did they just take?
I think it was 3 so far. But
I think it's more than that. But
it might be. To this point, 900 applied. They took 3 so far. That's incredible. That's kudos to them.
Well, it's what they're doing is they're building their feeder system for tomorrow.
Right.
It doesn't mean that those people will end up staying here, but they could.
Yeah.
But what it does mean is during that period of time, they're going to have their expertise in the hospital. And it's going to be a teaching situation, and I think it just strengthens the core principle of what Cheshire Medical Center is trying to do and turn the corner from some rough times into really. I mean, they just hired 3 more orthopedic surgeons, doubling the size of the department at a time when the need is there. And what happens is if you don't have the doctors to be able to perform the surgery, you have to ship them some other place to have that done, which means that that takes ambulances, and I know this firsthand right now, takes ambulances to take them wherever they need. But if you hire doctors now to do those surgeries, you're keeping everything in-house.
Yep. So kudos to them. That is good. Cheshire Med, COVID hurt them greatly, and they're making a comeback. COVID hurt a lot of places badly and deeply, and they're coming back.
I think we're still recovering.
Oh yeah, we'll be for a while.
Yeah,
we'll be.
But I actually think I think the sad thing is I think things are a lot better than they were, but it's hard to see it yet. And I think that's, again, people can disagree with me. I just think it's manipulation. I think it should be better, and it's not. And I think there's people up here that are making a lot of money right now.
Oh yeah, that's we talked about that before. Corporate greed.
The NASDAQ, is what it was. It's over 39,000. I remember when President Bush stepped down, in his second term, and Obama was elected. It was at like 8,900 points. And it's just been an incredible growth period for investing.
Well, the rich have clearly gotten richer. The middle class has clearly shrunk.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, the stock market's going great guns. It's just that a lot of the middle class has been left behind from this. Recessions make millionaires billionaires and crush the middle class. Yeah. And that's what happens during a recession. But speaking of ambulances, good segue. Looking at the capital improvements program for this year, and we talked about the cost of ambulances, and we've got one coming up this year, actually, fiscal year 25 coming up. It looks like $452,000 for the upcoming ambulance, which is pretty good price, really. Compared to what's out there. Chris, now because you're an expert on ambulances. Not that you ever wanted to be. We replace our ambulances. We have 3 active ambulances that run. We rotate them. Right now, it's every 9 years we're getting at, which is, I was nervous when we went from 7 years to 9 years on an ambulance. Because it's not just the miles you put on an ambulance, it's the hours in an ambulance. Yeah. Because the ambulance is just a big electrical unit. It's an emergency room on wheels. 7 years for an emergency room on wheels is a long time with technology. So we've stretched them out to 9 years. It's working so far. In what we did this year, though, so we had 3 of them, and when we rotated the one out, we didn't sell it or trade it. We kept it as a backup. So if one of the frontline ambulances goes down for a repair, we can pull it out and have it as a backup. So, but anyhow, so that's coming up. What else is coming up this year, Chris, while we're talking about it?
So is that a bariatric ambulance, or is that just what's it say for the ambulance?
Let's see. It says, hang on, ambulance acquisition. And that's pretty much a fully loaded.
You
move some equipment, you buy some new equipment, but 452. Then they're estimating the one in 28 is going to be about 468. That could be a little low. But we'll see. So, yeah, you're talking right now for an ambulance around $500,000. And you know that because you bought a bunch of them. A couple of new, a couple of used, a couple of Ghostbuster ambulances. And we did save some money this year, though, because we have a rescue truck. And they're about $1 million vehicle, the rescues are.
What's a rescue truck?
Basically, it has all your tools on it that you need, especially for an automatic, jaws of life, equipment for getting into locked up buildings, basically all your expensive hardware. Yeah. And a new one is about $1 million, and we got the one that we have now in 2010. So it's getting up there in years as far as those type of trucks go. But we're refurbishing it to be like new, and it's still costing about $500,000. But it's in such good shape, the fire department, they take really good care of their vehicles. And they went through it, inspected it, looked at it, and said, man, this truck's this truck's in great shape, but it still needs some work. So basically, we're literally getting a new truck for about half the price because we're refurbishing it. So, and that's the only other vehicle due this year. Next year, we're due engine 1 is scheduled to be redone, and those are. I'm looking at it right now. They used to be $1 million. Now they're up to like $1.3 million.
Do you have in there your capital reserves?
Yeah, somewhere throughout here I have everything, Chris, but I don't have my page.
Because what I would want to know is the 400 and some odd thousand is have you set aside money?
Oh yeah.
So really, this is not in theory, it's if there is a hit to the budget, it's a smaller number, or it's nothing at all because over those 9 years you've been setting aside a certain amount of money as you have for each.
You act like somebody that's done this before. Yeah, that is correct. There's the equipment reserve fund. So you don't, like a lot of towns, they don't have any. They don't have an equipment fund, and all of a sudden their fire truck, craps out, and they're like, oh my God, we're going to ask the voters for $500,000, and the voters say no. Here, yes. Every year there's money that's put aside for equipment. Yeah. So it's an equipment reserve. So, when it comes up, you don't catch you off guard. Like
that's what I would like. I mean, to be honest with you, what I would like to know is, and maybe you can tell me next week because I'll follow up with you just to bust you a little bit. Okay. Is that so? Is it for something, and when was the order placed? Because there is a lag in its supply and demand, so that's probably why the prices are as high as they are too. Because I can tell you that depending on the different vehicle, is different prices. We have some of our ambulances cost $280,000. Some of them cost $300,000 or $400,000, and our bariatric one that's coming is $400 and some odd, close to that price.
Right. Well, you guys, that's what your paramedics probably roll on.
Well, the bariatric, no, that's just, it'll be the second one in the county. You have the other one, and that's for those people that are over 5, 7, 6, 700 pounds, and they have a system within it that so you can get them in and out.
Oh, that's they're equipped for that. Back in my days on the when I was on the call fire department, we had the old stretchers, and we went like one in particular that somebody was extremely obese and it bent the stretcher. Now, and that was back in the manual days, you lifted the stretcher with back power. Yeah. And a couple of guys pulled their backs out, and that's expensive. If titanium, they're basically titanium stretchers now, and they're power stretchers. Yeah. Whether they
strikers.
Power up.
They're called strikers. Some of them, the best. Well, I don't know if some will argue, but I know that the stretchers that we have that go in Amos are strikers, and they're electric, and they go in. Yeah. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. Back in my day when I used to walk to school up
workers' comp is you always want to protect as best you can. So that's and we want to make sure that the individual that we're caring for is in the best situation possible too.
Right. No, there was a couple of cases where over the years, Keene firefighters blew their backs out because you're either going to drop the patient or you're going to let the back go, and they hang on. Yeah. And then, of course, the adrenaline kicks in till you get back to the station. Then you realize, my back hurts.
Yeah. There was a fire the other day in Swansea at Cobb Hill. In those situations, does Keene do some level of backup in those situations? It was a 2-alarm, I think.
Yeah, well, Keene would be the first mutual aid town in to Swansea. Yeah. So, first alarms... usually, they're sending Keene, and a lot of times Keene will get there first because Keene's got a manned station. And I don't know if Swansea's got anybody full time there now. They might have a couple of people actually in their station.
Well, I know they have I think the chief is full. I know the chief is full time, and the assistant chief I thought so too. But
a lot of times Swansea fires, especially in North Swansea, that Keene will be the first arriving engine. And then when Swansea arrives, it's their fire, their command. Yeah. But yeah, Keene runs to pretty much all Swansea fires above first alarm. So, and Swansea comes to Keene a lot too. Mutual aid Swansea to Keene. Because it does a lot of times, like a major auto accident. I mean, everybody all of Keene is committed. Yeah. You only get 9 firefighters on at once in Keene. It's not like people think you have 20, 30 guys on it. Once there's 9 guys on.
Yeah.
So you have a major accident where an ambulance or rescue and an engine goes, that's it.
Yeah.
Your station's empty. So you're calling mutual aid to cover the station, which is Cheshire EMS, and they'll bring in a Swansea engine or maybe a Marlboro engine.
Yeah.
So the towns do back up Keene, so it is reciprocal.
Yeah, I was just reading something today that when we were Cheshire EMS was at the Cobb Hill fire, and then we are also during that exact time we were also asked to come in and cover the city while the other ambulances were out on calls.
Yeah.
So we were like at 2 different situations, and that's what it should be all about. Simply.
And there's a good chance that you while you were there, you'd get called out because ambulances in Keene is go, 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 go. I've talked about it before. When I was on the department, I'd do an overnight. You'd probably get 1 call in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore. It's just go, 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 go. It's constant. You don't get like, in the old days, a full night's sleep. They don't. The Keene Fire Department right now work back-to-back 24-hour shifts, so you're on for 48 hours.
Yeah.
Sleep when you can.
Yep.
And then when they're off, so they can, recalibrate and actually get some sleep in. Whereas before, when you did your 12-hour shifts, maybe I think it was 11 on, 13 off, whatever, and you'd always be called right back in, and it was burnout. So this the way it is right now, the 224s, they don't burn out as fast because like I said, it's 24/7 now. It's just go, 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 go. I mean, you guys probably see that on Cheshire EMS. It's go, 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 go.
Well, it's one of those things people don't understand sometimes. There's downtime, and then you're on. And that on can be on, or it could be downtime, on, downtime. But it's like our corrections facility. It's like our nursing home. We're there when you need it. Not every town currently has a individual at the corrections facility, but during that year they could. And the in the nursing home, same situation. Not every town is at the nursing home, but they could be at any time.
Right.
And it's we're just a service.
Speaking of that, how's the speaking of nursing home?
Yeah.
I heard your familiar voice on the radio the other day talking about that. And you've had one floor during COVID and lack of being able to find bodies, to work there. How's it coming along? Is the floor opening back up again for more patients?
The nursing home right now is it's interesting. We have our goal has been to get it. We've been at a census of 100, and we
What's
have
the max capacity?
150.
150.
But since I've been here, I think the most we've ever had is 136, and it all has to do with staffing.
Right.
We have certain staff ratios that we will not go up against because we just think it puts people's care in question.
Right.
And so Catherine Kindup, who's the nursing home administrator, has done a great job with her staff to the point where now they think they can open up an added 10 beds. So on the renovation side,
will they get filled immediately if you open 10 beds?
Well, here's the thing. What we're finding is we can pull people that we currently have out of rooms and move upstairs to these rooms, and we can now, it's taking us a little bit longer because when we do, it gives us an opportunity to go in and paint the room over real quickly.
Oh, cool.
And then once that's done, then we can get somebody from Cheshire Medical or wherever to, move into the beds that we just painted the rooms on. And so it's just a process, but yeah, our goal is to get to 110 and then possibly see where it goes from there. So when we renovated and expanded the nursing home, the old side is renovated. Well, we have on the other side, we're going to be moving. We have assisted living. We have 20 apartments, 40 people, 20 apartments, and so those have never been renovated. So we've been saving up, and now we're going to utilize the monies that we've saved to renovate all at once. So we're going to move everybody into that's on the other side. So it's 25 on that third floor, 25 beds on one side, 25 beds on the other side, and for a 2-month period, while the downstairs the assisted living is getting renovated, they're going to live on the renovated side, and we're opening up. So we're expanding and renovating again at the same time. And it's just, I think it's fortunate. But our goal is to get to 120, and see where we're at that point. But it really comes down to staffing. And again, it's one of the reasons why we gave monies to Keene State College in River Valley to help us develop this feeder system where an LNA somebody can go get their LNA through the River Valley, then their LPN through River Valley. And if they want to pursue farther than that, they can go through Keene State College and do the RN program. And what we get out of that is they do their clinicals with us, so they can see our facility, they see what we're about, and if they're smart, like most facilities today, but like with ours, they can pretty much get everything paid for all the way along, so they don't have that debt, and they can be working for us the whole time. So that would be a good thing for people to do, and that's the feeder system. Because if we don't build the feeder system, we know what we have, and that is just stealing from everybody. Cool. Everybody just steals. Everybody, we're going to bump it up the pay here. We're going to bump up here. We're going to give you a sign-on bonus. We're going to do a sign-on bonus. It's just like madness. Yeah. So we have to build a feeder system and see if it helps not just us, but Cheshire Medical or Pheasantwood or Applewood or whoever else. If these, if that's what we need to do. Yep.
Speaking of county buildings, back when you and I first did Keene No Spin a couple of decades ago now, not to date ourselves as we head into our late 30s.
Is it a couple decades?
Yeah, it's
all a blur.
Yeah, a lot of things are a blur. You and I actually, back before you were a county administrator, way before then, we actually toured the old jail up in Westmoreland. Remember that? When I took a look at it, it's like, ooh.
I did that 3 times.
And then the new one's in, and of course Van Wickler was the warden superintendent there, and he did a phenomenal job. And I haven't talked to you about the Keene jail for a while. How is it going?
Oh, the corrections facility.
You're right.
And so Superintendent Van Wickler retired, and Superintendent Doug Yosway has stepped in. Hired from within. That's the thing that's always funny to me. People always say, well, you're doing a national search, but if you look at how the county's gone over the last few years, even with my position, it was a national search, but they hired me, and they hired Doug, and we go for who we think is the best candidate to lead us forward.
Well, you always want the number 2 person to be groomed to be able to take over for the number 1 person.
In theory.
That's the way it's supposed to work.
In theory, but Doug's there now. Going
well?
It's knock on wood. Anything I say, I always knock on wood, because the men and women that work up there do an incredible job. It's not an easy thing going and being in the atmosphere for 8 hours,
right,
of working with individuals. Some of them, love to see if they can manipulate the services. Some of them are incredibly violent. And it's not, my thing, I've been asked this before, well, you take in federal inmates and they're violent. I said, to be honest with you, I've done the study. And I know that locally, we have more incidences that we have to call people in for than we do with the feds, because the feds are all waiting for trial. And if they get themselves in trouble, 2 things happen. One is they're out of our facility and they're going to some other facility. And our facility's a nice facility. Food is good. The expectation, what they sometimes get upset about is we have a lot of inspections, cell inspections, a lot. But the bottom line is it's an easy atmosphere, and they're waiting trial. So really, it's not to say we don't get some feds that act up, but they're not the ones that we really have to worry about as much as the locals sometimes are. They just go for broke sometimes.
Yeah.
And then you have to call in the troops, and we lock the place down for a second. Everybody goes in their cells, and we have a conversation with the individual that's having a hard time at the moment, and seeing if he can correct his actions and move on with his day. And if he can't, then there's always isolation and all that jazz, I'm guessing. But however they have to deal with it, that's their call. But it is the quiet, unsung heroes of the law enforcement, because they deal with these guys, you know,
Where they can have
that
patience.
you don't hear a lot about. It's not
No, you
I'm
don't.
not taking away from the police officers working out there, because what they have to do every single day is intense work in itself. You never know what you're walking into. There's a
Right.
danger there. But these guys, it can be an intense atmosphere, and you have to mentally be able to be prepared for that, or it doesn't work well.
Yep, can't get complacent.
No.
I know we're almost out of here because you have a meeting to attend, lunch meeting. And next month, City Council is hosting an event, a little get-together with school board, state reps, town administrators, county administrators, elected county officials. And it's kind of our once-a-year get-together where we all get in the same room and say, what the heck do we need? Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. It's actually going to be at Heberton Hall this year because City Hall got remember last year it got packed. Yeah. So many people showed up. Yeah. So it's going to be at Heberton Hall. Actually, you're going to have some snacks and stuff. Well, that's how you get elected officials to show up. You have some food.
Yeah. The thing that I always like is they have Margaret Burns from New Hampshire Municipal Association. Yeah. And her staff come in and they really go through a lot of bills that are.
They talk about bills that are going to affect us directly,
right?
And they do in layman's terms, right? Instead of a bill being this big, you know, in a paragraph they can say this is why you want that bill, or this is why you don't want that bill. So that's I think it's March 25th if I remember right, but. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a very interesting meeting. Let's face it, a lot of political meetings aren't interesting. They can be kind of boring. This one is going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to that, where we all get together and
we just go in and we just listen. That's what we do. The commissioners and I go and we just listen to see what's going on. Hopefully, we can get some of our. Usually we have a good number of our state reps there too. And it's helpful because I think hearing all this information, anytime we can all be in the room together and the state reps can hear our concern. Right. You know.
Yeah, I wish we could drag down a few other state reps down here, but But anyhow, like I said, they think we're in Vermont, so they're not going to listen to us anyhow. But
thank you. We'll be back next week with another edition of Spotlight Keene, but we got to go.
You got to go. Chris has to go to lunch.
Bye.